Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another live stream. Welcome in, guys. The elections are happening tomorrow. The off-year elections. This is not great, not terrible. This poll. 0.8. Trafalgar Republican pollster. Have you heard about Trump? Trump is planning to send in the military and do campaign strikes into Mexico against the cartels after Mexican mayor assassinated. Well, no, I haven't heard that. I hadn't heard a Mexican mayor got assassinated. Now he's trying to strike him. But it doesn't surprise me if he has this much aggression against Venezuela. You'd figure it would be even more against Mexico. So he was always going to do some type of campaign against the cartels, I think. Pelosi is done. Well, Pelosi running, it's just clown talk. She's going to run again. Like, what are we doing? It's a joke. She realized it's pathetic. I mean, how old can you get to run? Like, it's just a mockery of the office at a certain point, is it not? I think she realized that. It's like McConnell. Will any GOP win tomorrow? It's the Virginia AG and the New Jersey governor. That's the hope. Virginia AG, New Jersey governor. Out of the big four, well, you want to call them big three elections, or really, I mean, Virginia governor is not happening. The mayoral, New York, obviously the Republicans not going to win. The question is Cuomo going to win? I saw that Trump, and I guess, endorsed Cuomo, which doesn't surprise me considering he's the only one that could stop Mamdani, even though people don't like Cuomo. Sliwa has no chance of winning. Just there's no way he can win. There's just not enough conservatives in New York City. It's not aligned to where even in a situation like this, which you would think would be positive for the conservative because the vote gets split three ways, it's still not going to be enough for him. Like, if he went up against Mamdani head to head, he'd probably lose 70-30. Sliwa. Virginia governor, I'm afraid, will lose. I think it's 100% they're going to lose. Just from a outsider perspective, you look at some of these people that are really good with polls, and I heard that Virginia is done. The governor's race in Virginia, not the AGs, but the AGs might get dragged down by the fact that the governor's race is like a 10 point. I mean, think about some of these Republican pollsters in Virginia. They have Spanberger up by 10, 11 points. There's like two or three different Republicans. See, when you get to like 10 or 11, it's going to be a challenge down ballot to get a Republican because there's going to be too many normie libs just voting down ballot Democrat, not even looking at who they're voting for. So the margins start to become an issue in Virginia if it is going to be a 10-point margin for the AG race. March Madness vid loading. Should I do a March Madness? I mean, do a March Madness 1.0, bracketology 1.0. The problem is those March Madness videos, there's so much roster movement. Just like, I don't even know the fuck is good. I mean, I guess I could look at some of the analytics and stuff, but it's hard to even say who's good in college basketball because of the roster movement now. So rapid with the transfer portal. Atlas only has Mamdani by 4. That's our pollsters. Yeah, but even that, it's like, that's an outlier. And you can say, well, maybe Atlas is right. But even if it's right, Mamdani would still... maybe it gets to within a margin if you call 4 within margin. But it's one poll. I mean, if there were like every poll that had Mamdani up by 4 on average, I would be more optimistic about it. But if there's a single poll, and we don't know, Atlas has been good, but... And even if Cuomo wins, like, is it really a great trade-off? I guess it's better than a socialist policy. No, it is better. Okay, it is better because you look at New York City, the major city in the United States. We really don't want someone like Mamdani running it, I'll say that. But it's like a reflection. It's the globalization of the country. It's the globalization of the city. And why wouldn't the leader of the city be globalized as well? Taken, from Uganda. It's kind of like the perfect situation to. It's like a symbolic thing to see. Just this is what happens when you have this mass immigration. This is the type of leaders it produces. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better. I mean, in the short run, it'd be worse with Mamdani, but you could argue the policies would lead to the city becoming more right wing. If the city becomes more right wing, then the state would swing more because the city is really what's holding back New York State. New York State, a lot of the areas are conservative, especially the more rural areas. But New York City obviously is extremely liberal, so what's with the liberals getting pissed about renovating the White House when Obama renovated it with a basketball court or something? Well, that's let's realize a few things. That is a false equivalency. Trump is doing something that is significantly different than a basketball court. He's adding on an entire another building that's bigger than the White House. But I agree with you. I think it's just a bunch of liberals that are angry. No matter what Trump does, they're just gonna be mad. But this is something that's been needed. I've done videos on this talking about the history of the White House, and they've they want a ballroom. It's very important. They don't want to use the circus tents anymore, and they think it's really undignified to have those tents. And when you're having these big parties, you've got it connected. So, and it's all private money too. You can say, well, maybe there were some favors behind the scenes, but it's still private money. These Democrats, they always use public money with Trump because of his business acumen. He's got all these connections. He's always private money. It's private investors. That also signals there's probably some behind the scenes deals, but we won't talk about that. Why is New York City so liberal? Because half the populace in New York City is are immigrants. They weren't even born in the country. They're not even the children of immigrants. They're actual immigrants. They get naturalized when they come to the United States. They get citizenship. These people were born in other countries. That's a big reason why it's so liberal. Look at California. California was like a swing state in the 80s. Look at what's happened to these states. I mean, it's the big cities. They all just get such a massive influx of immigrants. And New York City might be the worst out of any of them in terms of the amount of immigration that's gone there with even in the past 20, 30 years. But we'll have to see. I mean, maybe it'll be bad enough to where it'll swing back. Did you see liberals on X were mad they arrested minorities for the thwarted terror attack in Michigan? Well, I did see that the was it a Muslim guy that got arrested, a jihadist or something. I don't know. I saw the person that got arrested. I didn't see the liberals getting angry about it, but I saw somebody got arrested. Stefanik +1 over Hochul. Recent polls. Yeah, I mean the local races in New York and like those type of races are very competitive, which is interesting in terms of the state potentially swinging. Well, if they're undecided, I mean, they might just not vote. Trump is making a push. He's going to help. I mean, this is the problem with this is, if New Jersey and Virginia go liberal, they're going to use that against Trump, but they're liberal states. Pete Hegseth goes to South Korea. to meet with the allies. Trump is plotting to deploy American troops into Mexico to take out. Yeah, these are like special military operations. They're like high level operations targeting specific cartels, and it's like a get in, get out operation, I think, is probably what they're going to do. Do you think America first will splinter enough MAGA support from the Dems to give leverage to win the midterms and the presidency? Well, I don't know. I think a lot of that stuff is online. I mean, we'll have to see how it materializes over the next year, year and a half. But it seems like that's a lot of stuff that's really online. I don't know if it really trickles much into like the normie sphere to where it really becomes a huge issue. I mean, technically a lot of the swing states are really close, so you never know. But yeah, there's like some splintering with the Israel stuff, and they're just gonna have to get rid of the Israel.
At Larryden 4,373 tip $20 through Super Chat. The complete disconnect from boomer conservatives and what Gens males care about is wide. The HS males I teach are further right than anything I have ever seen in my life. It is only going to get louder.
They're further right than anything you've seen in your entire. I mean, what? So you're insinuating it's they're I guess heavily fascist. I mean, I understand younger guys are very right wing. That's a lot of them are extremely right wing. They're very anti-Israel, and obviously they're anti-left, but they're also anti-Israel, and a lot of the establishment right is pro-Israel.
Luke Angelo tipped $9.99 through Super Chat. Voted for Jack early. Seeing a lot more Jack signs in more traditionally blue areas. It's possible that quite a few registered Democrats will break for him. He has a lot of crossover appeal.
No, I agree. I think Cheryl's a bad candidate as well. I think if Cheryl ends up losing, they're going to look back and say she just was a lousy candidate. And I mean, I think he's got like a 50-50 chance of winning. I don't know how the betting is 80-20, I guess because the overall polls, but even the recent polls are within the margin. I mean, it's like +2, +3 Cheryl. So it's within the margin of error. But yeah, it really is an on-the-ground game in New Jersey. That's what it comes down to because the polls are so close. We really can't know for sure. But if Citarelli has a lot of the momentum, I mean, that's very good. And the latest poll that we saw was 0.9 difference, 0.9. So it's basically 50-50 in terms of the polling, and we'll have to see. Piers Morgan interviewing Ronaldo tomorrow. Yeah, who cares, honestly, about that? Cuomo rejects Trump endorsement. Well, that's dumb of him if that's true. I mean, listen, it's just a bad situation in general, I think. Cuomo is not a good candidate. Why do liberal and blue states don't want voter ID? Every country and liberal European states need voter ID. No, it's because it hurts their overall election turnout. Voter ID hurts the Democratic election turnout. I mean, whether you want to say, well, they use it for heavy cheating or not, they know it's a hurdle for them and for a lot of the people that vote Democrat. So obviously they're not going to want voter ID. You're right. It makes no sense. All the more liberal or even further left, you look at like a regular Democrat in the United States, there's further left Democrats that lead countries in Europe, and they all have voter ID, but they don't want it in the United States. It makes no sense, but I believe they've been, like the registration, the ID process, a lot of these minority people, they don't have IDs. They don't have proper IDs. It's going to cut into their overall vote numbers. So they've been pushing hard against it. And it's just like an obvious thing that's we should have the voter ID. And honestly, liberals you would think would want the voter ID. Remember, it's like Republicans were like, well, the election is stolen in 2020. Why wouldn't liberals want to say, all right, we didn't steal anything. We'll bring in voter ID to make it fair and square, and to show you that we can win anyways without the people that are potentially not citizens voting. Or it just doesn't make any sense. You think the Democrats would want it to prove that they can win elections without Republicans accusing them of cheating, yet they continuously are against the voter ID because their citizens can't get IDs, is what they say. They say it's inaccessible for them to have IDs or something, and then it's racist if you want voter ID. Meanwhile, all these liberal countries in Europe have voter ID. I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to be able to implement the voter ID laws that Trump wants. I mean, that's probably something that's a big topic before the midterms, I would guess. Larry Silverstein, what welcome. You're sad they're going to get rid of all of your Republican representatives in California if Prop 50 passes. Yeah, well, there's a really high chance on that passing, apparently. That's unfortunate. It's going to gut the Republican Party in California, and they're really demoralized about it. I saw them tweeting about it. So, yeah. I mean, that's just one of the casualties. It's just, if you can gain the overall gerrymandering advantage, you got to take it. The liberals are going to try and respond, but even with a response, you're still going to get the overall gain, even if they get the 5 seats. So, it's unfortunate that Prop 50 will pass. I mean, ideally it doesn't pass, and they say we don't want to do it, but it's a niche thing. It's like it's an off-year election, and a lot of the people just don't care, and the ones that do care hate Trump, and so they'll come and show up at the polls and vote for it to pass, and then they'll say, well, it's actually just against big bad Trump. It's not about gerrymandering California, when it is gerrymandering California. But, they say it's a response. What's your take on Ben Shapiro? Well, I think they are really, obviously, a massive nerve was struck with the pro-Israel people when Tucker Carlson had Fuentes on. It was really a normalization event for Fuentes to normalize himself, like for Tucker, for the Republican Party. And so that obviously struck a big nerve with these Israel people. And so they realize they've got to fight back. See, they've been trying to ignore it all, and now they're like, well, we've got to actually fight it. But yeah, I don't know where it leads, honestly. I mean, it's an online thing right now. I don't really think, like, what percentage of voter really knows about a feud like this? I don't think it's a very high percentage. So I don't know. I mean, it would be really cool if Trump supported Tucker with a statement, but feels like that won't happen with their Iran disagreement. Well, that's not going to happen. Trump will not comment on something like that with Tucker and Fuentes and Ben Shapiro. Trump would never comment on something like that. I don't think. I don't think that would be a good for him. He probably thinks, and his strategists think it's probably a bad idea to comment on stuff like that. But I think Trump and Tucker are still cordial for sure. Yeah, there was the Iran thing, but Trump is also bipolar a little bit. Like, he'll hate someone and then like them the next day. So you think the real problem with the interview was that Tucker had exactly zero pushback to give and didn't you know what, dude? When I watched that interview, and I never said it because I guess I forgot, I'm pretty shocked that's how Tucker did that, because Fuentes went at Tucker in like 2 different of his episodes he did, like calling him a CIA agent and all this. And then Fuentes has him on, and it was really positive. So that did surprise me that it was so positive after Fuentes, talked all that stuff about Carlson and his father, that he kind of like I just thought it would be a little bit different than that. Why is Cuomo in OJ's real Bronco latest post? I don't know. It's these are like election stunts right before the polls close. They're doing all these things for a lot. It's like trying to get people riled up to vote. Wasn't CZ from Binance? You should see so much. You know they got that 60 minutes, so they've got the overtime, the 60 minutes overtime or whatever. It's like an extended. So they're asking Trump questions about the crypto stuff, and he just says I don't know anything about it. He says I don't know anything about it. China's gonna be good on crypto. We got to have better crypto laws than China. And then they ask him, they're like, well, you pardoned CZ. And he's like, are you ready for this? I don't know who he is. And then she's like, well, you pardoned him. He's like, are you ready? I don't know him. Mm-hmm. Tucker's opinion on Venezuela and Islam is super retarded. Yeah, I saw he got a bunch of clips of Tucker in his episode. I saw that. I mean, some of it is like, okay. Some of it's bad, but some of it's like probably out of context. Why are people suddenly acting like the GOP thought they were going to sweep everything tomorrow? Only place you heard was maybe New Jersey in an upset. Is it just lib propaganda? Well, what do you mean? Like they're saying Republicans are not going to do well? Yeah, I mean that's got to be liberal propaganda. These are liberal states in general, and the way Virginia votes, it's normally the opposite. So Republican wins in 24, liberals probably going to win in 25. It's a one-term thing. If Youngkin was running again, it'd be a bit much different story. But it's a liberal state. I mean, the last several election cycles, Virginia's been solidly blue. New Jersey solidly blue. These are liberal states. So I think they're trying to use it as propaganda. It's going to be used against Trump if the Republicans lose, but I'm not expecting a victory, especially when it comes to the governor's race in Virginia. I think New Jersey they could get, but it's just used as propaganda against Trump. Like, oh, since Trump entered, the Republicans have lost all these races basically, and it's like all liberal states, or like the Wisconsin fucking Supreme Court race. Remember that? But then Republicans just bitch and say, oh, nobody turns out. That's what it just turns into if Republicans lose. They say, well, they don't. There's not enough people that do enough. They don't tell people about the election happening and how important it is, and it just starts all this bitching, these bitching sessions about how there's no Republicans are low propensity, and do a video on the god awful Obama library. I don't even know if there's a point to it. What's the? I mean, I could do a video on presidential libraries. I mean, most of the presidential libraries are pretty. They're pretty non-eventful from when I was looking. Like they don't. There's not. They're unremarkable. But the Obama one, that's insane that he decided to go with Soviet architecture. It's very strange. I mean, somebody should ask him, or I don't know, maybe I should look it up or something. Why would you choose that architecture style? Doesn't make any sense. Seahawks did well last night. Feel bad for Jaden Daniels, shouldn't I? Yeah, he's the problem with Daniels. I think he's just too small. He needs to put on weight, or he's going to keep getting injured. He is a very small quarterback. He's a wiry quarterback. Thoughts on Bears Bengals game? Crazy. Joe Flacco, what, 470 passing yards? Pretty insane. And they still lose. Of course they lose because they left 50 seconds left on the clock. Trump's presidential library is going to be the craziest. Apparently, it's going to be in Florida, they said. I guess it's not surprising. That's like where his home base is. But yeah, they're going to build a presidential library for him in Florida. Is Flacco elite? He's had such a weird career. It was like he was kind of good, but now he's like, he's able to somehow, he's got no mobility. Like if anyone pressures him, it's going to be a challenge, but he can sling it. That's just no doubt about that. Word on New Jersey Heart says Jack, Brain says Cheryl. Well, I mean, Cheryl is up in all the polls, but it's becoming to be within like a margin of error. I mean, it's going to be very close. It's going to be very close. Cheryl would have a slight advantage, I would say, at this point. How are the polls leading for Mamdani? It's just there's a lot of liberals, a lot of further left people in New York City. There's a lot of immigrants in New York City that are voting for Mamdani. I want to see how some of the tabs on that mayoral election to see, because I'm sure they'll be coming out. Newsom's wife was calling out Trump. That seems pretty weak, honestly. The wife is going to try and get involved. Didn't Newsom cheat with someone, have a cheating scandal? I remember hearing about that. You think the shutdown will end before next week with elections going on tomorrow? I don't know when the shutdown... It's impossible to say exactly when the shutdown will end unless there's some new report. It just depends at what point somebody's going to have to cave in or something. I don't know. They're going to have to negotiate something. I think the Democrats are going to have to cave in. But a lot of this is like a polling thing. Who's being hurt worse? What are people saying? Is it the Democrat? Are they saying it's the Democrats' fault, the Republicans' fault? The turnout is so low just because it's not advertised as much. That's why it's so low, and people don't think it's as important as the presidential election because not as many people talk about it, basically. Especially in an off year. I mean, midterms, the turnout is still lower, but, you know, an off year like this in 21 or what is it, 25 or 27, the off years, it's going to be a lower turnout. Just because people are not really in the mind to vote. They don't think it's election season. Love your video on Operation Barbarossa. The Germans could have had it all of Europe, but they got greedy. Well, they definitely could have handled it a little bit differently, but there's a lot of hypothetical videos you could do off of that I might decide to do. But I might just want to do review different battles.
Foiled ISIS-inspired terror attack that allegedly would have involved a Halloween massacre in a Detroit suburb. Muhammad Ali and Majed Mahmoud both appearing in court today.
Muhammad Ali
plotting a mass shooting codenamed Pumpkin, according to court documents. Search warrants on both men's homes and a storage unit recovered 3 AR-15s, 2 shotguns, 4 pistols, and more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition, along with tactical vests and other gear. The suspects are being held, and their next court appearance will be November 10th. foiled ISIS-inspired terror attack.
Muhammad Ali. Do a Dresden video. Yeah, the bombings.
Peter Jeffries, I guess on the Epstein files, which still have not been released, on a personal note, how does it feel to work with so many grown adults who have been obstructing the release of these Epstein files and, in effect, protecting pedophiles?
Well, the Trump administration and Mike Johnson are running a pedophile protection program. That's what they've been doing. And that's the reason why they refuse to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. For weeks now. She was elected in late September decisively. And Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva still hasn't been sworn in because she'll become the 218th vote on an up or down piece of legislation that will require the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. And yet week after week after week have gone by and Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is unable to serve 800,000 plus people in the state of Arizona, all because of the pedophile protection program being run by Mike Johnson and House Republicans at the direction of their boss, Donald J. Trump.
He says pedophile protection program. I mean, what does that make the Democrats the last 4 years? At least Republicans, or at least the constituents, the people are trying to force it out. The voters, the Republican voters want it to be forced out. Yeah, I mean, these have been good over performances. We'll have to see if it keeps up. Hopefully it keeps up.
Do you feel safe?
What are they going to threaten me with? Going to heaven sooner to be with my husband? And I don't say that to be reckless. I do not. I do not say that because I'm out in the streets like, here I am, come find me. And it's not at all. It's a fearlessness that's rooted in the understanding that I will have my day and my time, whenever that is. When the Lord knows that I've completed my mission. And I'm not afraid. Charlie wasn't afraid either. We never lived in fear. If we did, we wouldn't get anything done.
Do you feel safe?
What are they going to...
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying a lot of things about Erica Kirk. I mean, I don't know, man. It's always a microscope. You're under a microscope. You're trying to grave. You're trying to react. You knew people were going to say stuff like, oh, she's going to date J.D. Vance, or she's going to run with J.D. Vance. Something is off about her. Yeah, I just think it's just typical for people to say that because they want to be like, they think they know exactly how you should react to something, and then if you don't react exactly in a certain way, you're faking it or something. That's kind of what it is. Thoughts on liberals posting that Erica Kirk and Vance are having an affair? Well, that's just leftist boomerism slop. It's just leftist slop. You think if Sliwa ran for governor, he would mop the floor with Hochul? All of your X feed is nothing but MAGA and America First fighting about Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I got a lot. I got a lot of that too, because Ben Shapiro did a video on it, and then there were all these other pro-Israel people. They had a they had like a rally or like a fucking banquet or something where they were talking about it over the weekend. And so I'm sure Fuentes will respond to it, and then it'll just keep going, and it's just like an. You don't see results being reported. It's not. The election's tomorrow. You shorted Palantir. Who do you think would win the Virginia governor's race? Spanberger. You see the big Halloween party the bigwigs had at the White House, knowing 40 plus Americans won't be getting food this month. Wild times we're in. Yeah, I don't know if the SNAP benefits are gonna end or not. It's just like, I think they've got like $6 billion or something. Did the SNAP benefits end or not? Because they said, well, they're ending, but then did they end? I mean, people said there were going to be all these riots and stuff. I haven't seen any of the riots. Trump partially saved EBT.
Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, like his, we've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that. And that is a contrast that he can't bear to see. Because while he is spending $300 million remodeling a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could provide SNAP benefits for 100,000 New Yorkers, he's trying to make it harder for Americans across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide which city or state will get what money. This is the money that New Yorkers are owed, and this is the money that we're going to fight for.
Okay.
Yeah, but the money's going to dry up with people that don't want to live in New York City because of the tax situation. I mean, you're going to get, there's a lot of money that's owed because the amount of money that New York City produces is going to go down, though. It's like they always use the capital sense of how much money is produced, and then they think they can distribute it a different way. But if you distribute it a different way, then you're not going to have that money in the first place. But he's angry that Trump endorsed Cuomo. What is it even going to do? I mean, Trump's a Republican. What, Republicans are going to vote for Cuomo now over Sliwa? I don't think it's going to be enough. Not with these polls. Are the Yankees going to see less revenue? The Yankees' payroll has to be slashed because of socialist policy. The New York Yankees payroll. The Mets have a higher payroll than the Yankees now, almost, with Cohen. They both have really crazy payrolls. Mm-hmm. You hate me for voting Mamdani? I highly doubt you even live in NYC, honestly. Does anyone live in NYC? Who are you voting for if you live in NYC? Saw Bill Ackman signing with Ben Shapiro. Yeah, that's makes sense. Sliwa, I'm voting Mamdani. You're voting Sliwa after the Trump endorsement? Connecticut here. New Yorkers better not move here. Connecticut, I think, is more liberal than New York. On Kalshi, put a small $20 bet on Cuomo to win. Payout is $190. Yeah, it's probably the same thing on Kalshi. Might even be better in certain aspects than Polymarket, but they're like the same. They like follow each other in terms of these elections. Like Cuomo, 217. You get better odds on Polymarket. On Cuomo, I don't think really anything's been changing the last 6 hours. Why is Sliwa running? I think he has a big beef with Cuomo, and so he might stop Cuomo from winning. It's a mess. I mean, he won the Republican. The reason he's running is because he won the Republican the primary, but then people thought he was going to drop out for sure. Or I guess it was only a 34% chance, but Democratic sweep of what does this entail? Virginia governor, Virginia House of Delegates, New Jersey governor elections, Mamdani wins, California referendum, Prop 50 passes. 80% chance, they say. What's the 500K volume? The Polymarket odds for Jack, 14%. Really haven't changed much at all. It went from 88 to 86, but yeah, even this Atlas poll really hasn't done much in terms of changing this. It's kind of been, I mean, it was even 80-20, now it's 86-14. You know, there was like a Cheryl +7 Fox News poll, but the Fox News has been they've been kind of really pro Cheryl this entire polling cycle, I feel like. What's your take on fat white women in office roles at work? What's the question? I think, you should get in shape. Trump start a census before his term's up. Well, they need to recount the census is what they need to do. Did you see Alabama player got arrested and suspended? I saw something about that on ESPN, Kirkpatrick or something. Yeah. Crumble cookies are horrible. That's one of the things. Blizzards are horrible from Dairy Queen. Crumble cookies. They say crumble cookies, it's like the volume of calorie within this cookie is insane. They say it's like 1,400 calories for like 2 bites of it. I've never seen something like that. They really should restrict that. I mean, that's almost like, now it's like cheating. Now it's like you're getting fat by like consuming like peanut butter or something. You know, peanut butter is really calorically dense. But those crumble cookies, the how calorie dense they are, that's an evil put into the United States. That's an evil put into the U.S. to make us fat. You can't have a cookie that's like fucking. It takes 2 bites to eat and it's 1,500 calories. Okay. Insomnia cookies, crumble. Yeah, no, they also have the insomnia. They're like the same thing, I feel like. I thought that was the same company. 2,400 calories for $5 is a good deal for poor people. Yeah, but the calories don't really do anything. You're gonna be starving if you 2,400 calories is like the daily limit. But we know that's not how it is in America. The daily limit for Americans is on average, the average American eats 3,600 calories or something. No, I don't know what it is, but it might be like 3,000 calories. People should have like a daily limit of 2,400 or something, I think. Depends how much you weigh. Why is your hinge only fat, white, and Mexican women? If you know how to fix it, please let me know. Your ELO score has got to be just destroyed if you're getting those recommendations. You probably have a horrible ELO score, so they're recommending they're trying to looks match you. But you know how it is. You probably, if you're a 5, you got to bat down to a 3. If you're a 6, you probably got to bat down to a 4. So enjoy. You eat around 4K, but you swim and go to the gym. Yeah, swimming is insane exercise. You lose insane amount of calories swimming. Swimming is very hard. It's it's an exhausting. There's a lot of exhaustion if you swim. If you're a 5, can you score a 7 or an 8 with higher income? Yeah, you could get a 7 or an 8 with better income. It depends. It depends your income level, your status, stuff like it. I mean, men will get, you get into the dating pool, you acquire your worth. You move up. You move up the ladder. See, with women, normally they end up moving down. With men, they move up, but they start lower. Women, as long as you're in decent shape, you're gonna have a certain dating value at a when you're 18, 19. With men, it's you're 18 or 19, you're a 5, you've basically got nothing, but you can build value. That's the good thing, I guess. So it's like a yin and a yang, and that's why women get older. It's very tough for them because their value decreases. They don't really understand what's going on. Crazy to see these big pro-Trump influencers turn on Trump virtually on a dime in the last couple of months. Hoj twins, Candace, Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it was like because of the Iran strikes. Notre Dame didn't really show it against Boston College. Yeah, Notre Dame struggled against Boston College. 100%. But, I mean, it's one game. I still think Notre Dame's good. Do you prefer eyes over body? Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. Yeah, eyes. I love your eyes. What a compliment on a dating app, right? It's like, oh no, you're hot, but I can't say it. So I love your eyes. Is Tucker turning on Trump? No, it was just the Iran strikes that he went against Trump for, and I think Tucker still has a good relationship with Trump, as far as I know. Honey bun or cinnamon roll? Yeah, cinnamon rolls are better for sure. Honey bun is like gas station food. I mean, honey buns are fine, but I had a honey bun just randomly. I went up and got one. It's just like bread. It's just carbs, just an overdose on carbs. Thoughts on fake racks if the doctor did a good job? Well, it depends. I think they get to a point where they're too big and it looks clownish. Yeah, if they get to, it's like the Brazilian, well, the butt lift is even worse, but you can do it in a subtle way with you get bigger boobs, it'll look good, but sometimes the women they get it's not proportionate to their body, and there's a fine line with women. You can't go too big. It looks ridiculous if you go too big. I agree, give yourself a boost maybe, but it's a certain time you've got to play it. You've got to play it safe sometimes. Favorite cereal? I really don't eat cereal, honestly. If I had to pick, I don't even know what cereals there are anymore, honestly. There's Captain Crunch is good. Boo Berry. It's a Halloween Cookie Crisp. Yeah, that's terrible for you. All that type of cereals. Actually, it's not that bad cereal. It just depends. Life cereal, right, right. I used to eat cereal without milk. It's like borderline terrorism. Now, I don't really like milk with cereal. Thoughts on Newsom's wife? Skank. No, I don't know. I know I don't really have an opinion on Newsom's wife. I don't know. She's been yelling at Trump or something. MTG is your aunt and she's chill. Yeah, she's got a construction business. You should go work for her. Thoughts on the Nick Tucker interview? Um, I was surprised, honestly, a bit. But to me, I think a lot of this is like Tucker is probably a bit concerned about because of how much influence Fuentes has on X with like some people on the right. He probably wanted to like appear in a good way, but I thought it would have been a bit more combative than that, honestly, than it was, just because of the feud that they previously had. So I guess I was a little bit surprised. Tucker will interview anyone. You stayed up this late for slot Monday Night Football. Bro's like 10 years old. Bro's 10 years old. He's got a bedtime. Are you in do you live in Europe? Yeah, I know. It is something to where it's like, a lot of these influencers, they need like people to talk about them to stay relevant. That's another thing that you realize with these influencers. Like they need these feuds to happen. It's so important. And then they just go back and forth and it's the reaction, 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 reaction. Then maybe they have a podcast together. Then it's he said, he said, he said, he said, he said, he. It's just this constant. Has gaming made Gen Z men weak? Well, I mean, I would just put gaming in just the umbrella of the internet in general, honestly. Gaming is just a singular part of it. It's just a lot of the internet, and there's a lot of destructive behaviors that happen by way of the internet, not just gaming. But I think it's affected both men and women. In some ways, positively, you get more information, but also a lot of ways negatively. But gaming itself, I don't really know. I was never a huge gamer myself. I never got addicted to it. I mean, I'll play here and there, but oh, did Aaron Judge win the MVP? They announced it. Aaron Judge. All rise. All rise. Any life updates from you recently? Just watch my recent video, I guess. There's really no. Honestly, I'll just tell you, there's really no updates from me at this point. Unfortunately. How low will Palantir dump tomorrow? I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe Ben Shapiro will sell off his shares and it'll dump for you. Aaron Judge. Gaming Pass like 25 is a little weird. Well, unless you do it professionally, I guess. It depends how much you game. If you're obsessed with it, yeah, it's a problem. It's just like anything, though. If you do it in moderation, I guess it's not that bad.
At Alexis Jen tip $5 through Super Chat. Is approaching Gen Z women as a man worth it nowadays when they film you, post it online for thousands of views of you being a creep?
Yeah, no, that's really bad when that happens. Cold approach, Gen Z girl. Yeah, I don't think that would work out too well, honestly. It depends the girl, but in a lot of ways, it's the cold approaches. You got to listen. If the guys that do that, normally it's in bar settings. They're normally drunk. It's a lot easier to do it that way. Social areas. I don't know about them filming it. I think that's kind of overblown, but I understand why guys don't want to do that. You don't think they announced the MVP yet? Well, the chat already said it was announced, but I don't. Shouldn't it get announced? The World Series is over. This is the problem with MLB. They wait too long to announce it. Just announce it. It's over. We sat through 7 games. I wonder what the odds are. Probably Judge is the favorite. Cold approaching. So cold approaching is dead for Gen Z. Well, I don't know. I'm not the law firm on cold approaching. I can't tell you if it's dead or not. It's not happening as much because of the dating apps. And men don't want to get rejected. IRL. They just listed the finalists. Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge. I don't know who else. Are PUA and dating coaches scammers? Dude, I don't follow dating coaches or any of that. I don't even know what that is, the PUA, but it probably, maybe a few people have been helped, but it's probably not a lot. Jose Ramirez. It's almost impossible to cold approach now. A lot of women today just look crass and unapproachable in most settings. Yeah, it's got to be in like a bar or something like that. That's really the maybe a work environment, but even that's borderline. Thoughts on World War One movie 1917 if you saw it? Yeah, I saw it when I was younger. I'd have to rewatch it honestly. I thought it was boring, honestly. But you know a little bit more about history, maybe I would like it. I still honestly might think it's boring. There's like a really fine line with a war movie from doing all the cinematical stuff and actually having like a legitimate. I'd have to rewatch it now and process it, but I remember it being very boring when I was younger. It's a decent movie. It's got a good soundtrack. What's a good strategy for New York in 2026 to unseat Hochul? Well, I mean, I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see who runs for the Republicans. Maybe it will be Sliwa. No, you don't date people. As a man, you don't date people older than you. You're not dating a millennial woman. Saving Private. I liked Fury. Fury, I thought was a good war movie. Downfall is a good war movie, but it's different. Just from a budgetary approach.
At Alexis Jen tip $5 through Super Chat. Why do Gen Z men complain more about housing prices instead of working more towards a higher income?
Because it's easier to complain. But also, I mean, it's just the housing is ridiculous. If you go the way of the normie bot and you get a 4-year and this, I'm not criticizing people who do this, but you know what it is it's a 4-year degree, and then the degree really doesn't get you much of anything. Maybe an internship, maybe $50K per year, but you also have debt. And then the houses and like a starter home is $350K. That's a big issue. The numbers are not aligning to really set young people up for success when you have stuff like that. Why did Charlie Kirk marry a woman 6 years older than him? And that's a personal choice by him. I wouldn't do that. Dirt cheap houses in Mississippi. Well, I mean, there's probably dirt cheap houses in any state in really rural areas. I mean, the land and the cost of the land is very important in terms of a house's value. The area. Always dating women older a red flag? It's a relationship dynamic. You can date a woman the same age, maybe a year older at the most. You don't want to date a woman. This is just a personal preference. You know what? It's a personal preference. So go ahead, date a woman 10 years older than you. See how she ages, and it's just not a good. It's not a good value proposition. I don't think anyone else is invested in a Palantir, man. Nobody's invested in a Palantir. Will you do a vertical stream? Yeah, maybe I'll do vertical streams on Friday, but I'd have to set it up better, I think, because it was like my hand was getting tired from holding it up. The problem is it's you have to like look really close because I have to be able to see the chat with those vertical streams. So I can't really keep it far away. She can make money before being a stay-at-home mom. The man's got to make you got to make the money. You got to take care of the finances. But I get it. It's tough. But that's just how I view the relationship dynamic. Is I think it's really unattractive if a woman is like this career-driven person who's obsessed with like moving up. That's extremely unattractive. That's what women should understand. It's not attractive when you're like, oh, I got to be the fucking CEO or any of that type of shit's unattractive. You have a wholesome job at like a supermarket or something, I'd be very happy with that. We don't need you fucking being the next Steve Jobs. Is Elon still right wing? Elon still supports Trump. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever your definition of right wing is, you're gonna have to figure that out, and then you can figure out if Elon is right wing, because everyone has a different definition. What if your hot wife inherits millions? That's a challenging relationship dynamic. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a part of that relationship dynamic. But I mean, that is a little bit different than working. So in a sense, it would be easier to handle. If you're 24, you should only be dating in the 20 to 21 bracket. Well, that makes sense. But if you're 24, you could date a 23-year-old girl, 24-year-old girl. I think that's fine. I'd be fine with dating my age or lower. But yeah, I mean, ideally, you'd like 20 lower than you. If a 27-year-old woman wants to date a 20, yeah, women want older. They want guys to be older than them as well. You ever watch Clear Value Tax? I'm gonna pull this from the back of my head. Is that the Asian guy? Is it the Asian guy who made all the videos about the stimulus? I don't really watch him. I've seen his content. No, I don't watch him. But I don't know if that's who it is. You're 26, your wife is 25. Perfect balance. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I knew it was the Asian guy. Because I could picture it. The dude with the suit and everything. Yep. Hmm. You think he's a doomer? He's probably just got like a 401k and like, he's probably in the S&P. Those type of guys. Maybe he's got one like exotic AI stock that he's excited about. The portfolio. Thoughts on Mark? He has had a tough NFL career. I know that. I'm surprised. And he was so good at Ohio State. I think he has maybe a mental block or something. Bro, what is this background here? They're like in a prison block. Six seven 220. Well, you're cooked because you're faking it and you're coping. You're obviously not six. You're about you're about 5'8", 200, so you're pretty fat. If I had to guess, you can lie and say you're 6'7". Highest BMI. BMI on women is not really a. I think they're always going to have a higher BMI. So it's not really an indicator, but you know, skinny. 220, 240, is it heavy? It depends your height. You could be a tank if you're tall, but in most, pretty much most American men cases, you're 220 to 240, you're probably fat. Or, but again, it depends. If you are like 6'5", 6'6", then you could be a Chad possibly. Yeah, it's really not a valid metric, that type of stuff for women. BMI. 122 skinny. Depends the height. Depends the height. On a guy, it's way too skinny. Yeah. On a guy, you got to be a midget if you're 120 or something. You want me to put the Monday Night Football game? That's not gonna happen, man. You know this. You date a pretty chubby girl that is actively going to the gym, losing weight. Oh, the investment approach. Yeah, then there's gonna be animosity once she gets hotter. She gets attention from other guys. That's a whole nother issue in and of itself. If you could pick a height and weight, I think 6'1's a good height. I mean, I guess maybe 6'2". I think every guy wants to be 6'1" or 6'2", maybe 6'3". It gets, once you get taller than that, that becomes maybe more of a hindrance. And although I'm sure you'd rather be tall than short, but like 6'2" is probably the best height, ideally. 5'5", bro. You look into the leg lengthening surgery yet? I'm just kidding, man. You're not gonna be able to walk properly if you do that. I've seen clips of guys doing that. You think 5'11" is too short? No, no. If you're 5'11", you're dooming. If you know that's it's that's a good height for. It's a good height. It's not amazing, but it's a fine height. 5'11", 200, 9%. Not, a lot of you can't do 9%. 9% you'd be hungry all the time. Body fat percentage. 9%'s not healthy. You think alt season's been canceled? It's just a small pullback. Most women aren't taller than 5'7". Yeah, the women, the ideal height for me, I think 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", something like that. It would be 5'6" is fine. They get to be 5'7". It's a bit of a weird dynamic, I would say. But that's because I'm 5'9". But with shoes, I'm about 5'10" and a half. Thoughts on the Iowa governor's race? Genuinely concerned Rob Sand. I've not been following it. I could probably look it up if you want. How tall are you with DeSantis shoes? It'd be probably 5'11" then. That's embarrassing when you do that, though. Woman's height shouldn't matter as long as you're taller. Yeah, I mean, but if you're the same height or even just 1 inch taller, I think it's not a great dynamic. Bill Belichick, transactional relationship. Yeah, that Belichick stuff, it's just one of those things. That is honestly disturbing. I know a lot of guys are like, "Oh yeah, come on. What are we doing? What is Belichick? 70 years old or something? 65 or something? I don't know." Women lie and say they're shorter than they are. Oh, 100%. 100%. If they're taller, they're going to lie. They say they're shorter. Men will lie and say they're taller. Well, that's just the dynamics of dating. De Niro had a child at 80. Yeah, it's just disturbing to me. Yeah, they do that. You were talking to this girl and she was like an inch shorter than me and trying to say she was 5'7". It seems like you've been just saying random shit this entire stream. 230, but with muscles is that bad? 230 pounds, you gotta be tall. Yeah, these are like leading questions. I mean, when's it too late to have kids as a man? I mean, realistically, I think late 20s, early 30s is the ideal time for a man to have kids. I guess late 30s is not horrible, but you want to be you have to, the kids need to grow up, but you still want to be active in their lives and everything. You want to be this old person. So, I think late 20s, early 30s for a man, but that becomes an issue with the situation and how much kids cost for guys when they're still trying to get into their career and make money. So that's another issue. Yeah, this is the same stuff. This is why it's like these streams, man. That's why I need to do the vertical streams. Maybe they would be better than this. And probably be worse, honestly. You had your first kid at 24. That's rare nowadays. I guess unplanned it's not rare, but planned that's rare. Normally couples like waiting to at least their late 20s or mid, like 27, 28. Do women care more about income or height? It's an extreme thing. So it's if you're like 5'3", you're not gonna, no matter. I mean, it's gonna be income, but it's gonna be income. Let's be honest. But it depends how short you are. Elon Musk said no more smartphones, cell phones in 6 years, only AI. What do you mean, like an AI chip inserted to where? I don't know, man. He says a lot of shit. If you're under 5'10", you're cooked. Be real. Let me cope. He has a great jawline. Dude has a powerful jawline. Dude's been doing the jaw exercise, the jaw exercises. Remember that? The looks maxing. See, like, you can have a great jawline. You just gotta put your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You have a great jawline. You do that. Other than that, sometimes I'll see my videos and I'll be like, why do I have chin fat or whatever? But honestly, I'm not even fat. It's just where the fat composite goes on your body, basically. Yeah, mouth breathing is really bad for you. You do that. I think it actually makes you dumber. That's what the studies have showed. A legs reveal. I haven't done a legs workout in a while. You doing N? Yeah, I mean, I don't participate in those type of things. I don't I don't masturbate much anyways, but I don't participate in those type of things. It's like, yeah, mouth breathing. Why do you think people wear the? People go try hard to the point to where they put tape over their mouth. Yeah, you can order like this mouth tape off of Amazon. They force themselves to breathe from their nose when they sleep. You don't have enough faith in humanity to believe Jay Jones loses. Yeah, I think liberals they're trying to push him over, but that's honestly really awkward. I mean, he's this attorney general, and And what he says, I mean, he says some really heinous, like worse than Trump. He says stuff way worse than Trump, and he's going to be the supreme authority. That's just awkward. Like, how do you even respect that person as like the leader of the law when he says that about children? That's not good. That's another unqualified person. That's going to be awesome to see him in leadership. Typical. Am I banned? You're going to be banned for that bad grammar, but you're not banned. Do you see any hope for New York City after tomorrow? It's sad. Well, maybe in the long run it helps. I mean, it's a cope, but you could think maybe it'll force the people more to the right if it's a mess. So I think if Mamdani wins, he's not going to be able to implement everything he wants to implement. It's going to get really ugly. They're going to blame Republicans or people in New York for holding it up. There's going to be small businesses that get shut down. It's going to get really bad probably pretty quickly. And so it's just going to be a blaming session. And he's not going to really implement a ton. And maybe people will be like, well, this sucks. And maybe people will turn more right wing. I don't know. But the problem is with New York City, again, just look at the immigration into the city. I mean, it's insane. I could really study and look it up and just tell you how crazy it is. But it's like, I mean, half the people are immigrants in New York City. So how are we supposed to, maybe first generation or even just naturalized in their lifetime coming from other countries? So if they keep getting that level of immigration, we know immigrants are very likely to vote left. Should I go to Ukraine to find a wife since they have a surplus of women? Well, it's yeah, they've got a very bad war situation. But I think a lot of them are immigrated to the United States. They immigrated to other countries, the Ukrainians. They would blame everything on Trump for pulling funding if Trump does it. Yeah, I know. So it's just going to be a blame session. He's not going to be able to implement a lot of it. That would be my guess, but how should I text the girl instead of just saying, hey? Well, I mean, if you're good looking enough, they'll respond to it, but I don't know. It's all just fucking fluff anyways. Just do I do the jaw exercises? I don't do them. Should I do them? Dude, you know the guys that do the jaw exercises, their jaws actually look like they puff out. And I don't think it's a good look. I guess it gives more definition to the jawline, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good look to me. It's like the jaw is like inflated or something. It's like the jaw has been swollen. PBD clip. Oh, PBD. PBD had Nick Fuentes on today. Oh, man. PBD. Adam Sloskest. Wouldn't chewing gum a lot be good for fit? Yeah, you got to chew a bunch of gum at the same time, though. It's got to be like 4 or 5 pieces, I think. But that would probably just by default help. You have a really bad feeling for Jack tomorrow due to early voting? Yeah, I mean, but early voting, it's not the end-all be-all. But yeah, if the early voting numbers are bad, I mean, seems like an issue, especially for an off-year election. Did you watch Ben Shapiro's episode today or just clips? I watched pretty much all of it, but a lot of it was, I mean, you serious? A lot of it was clips. It was Shapiro going through clips of Fuentes and Tucker Carlson, basically saying this is what they've said in the past, so that's why you should not respect them. That was the entire thing. And then he did say Tucker Carlson cucked to Nick Fuentes. Did you see that? And honestly, I mean, I thought Carlson would have been tougher on Fuentes after what Fuentes said about Tucker. So it is interesting. Imagine Republicans sweep tomorrow. That would be a bigger upset than 2016. No. Because 2016 was more magnified. It's a bigger election. I mean, this is like, these are just smaller elections in an off year. Yeah, he does have a point on that. He did cuck to him. I mean, that is true. I was thinking, the thing is should I imagine I don't shave? This is what I think. I think I look better. Well, it depends, but sometimes I think I look better when I have like facial hair that you can see, and other times I think it's not good. It just doesn't grow in right. But I was thinking of just letting my facial hair grow for a few weeks and seeing if it looks good, because I've actually been shaving a lot. I've actually shaved it down recently a few times. So you basically can't even tell. Your girlfriend wants the Newsom clip. Your name Drake. Your name is Drake and Josh DG Depressed Ginger. You've got a girlfriend. Listen, we're doing a lot here. If you've got a girlfriend, literally anyone can get a girlfriend. I'm just kidding. Well, I don't want to have a beard or anything, but I want to see if I have facial hair.
In 2026, they're envious, they're jealous. It's already been proven. He's been vindicated. History books are going to favor this guy. One day in the next 10, 20, 30 years, we're going to be sitting in a movie theater watching a movie of his or a show on Netflix that's going to come out in 10 series. The amount of stories they're going to show of what this man was able to do. Many kids are going to grow up saying, I want to grow up to be like Donald Trump. Obama, this is the worst way to finish up your legacy. You came off your 2 terms. You were supposed to be Black Jesus. Everyone's turned against you. You guys had to pay people like Beyonce and all these other guys to come perform for you. Trump is going after protecting folks in Nigeria. Nicki Minaj is coming saying thank you to President Trump. Trump didn't pay Nicki Minaj for a thank you. They have a hard time winning their own people over. Trump is winning their people over, and this is driving them insane. In 2026, they're...
So that's PBD. PBD was born in Iran, I saw. Yeah. He had a podcast today. They talk about the elections and stuff. Podcast slop. Podcast slop. This is streaming slop, what I do. Streams just slop. Just garbage. Yeah, I know he was sucking up to Trump there, but that's what you got to do. You got to pay the toll if you want the interview. You know, Trump gave him an interview. Trump does this thing. He gives these interviews to these people, and then it's just, it's the worship sesh. And it's smart for Trump to do it, because that's a dynamic. I mean, if Trump gives you an interview, there's more than likely you're going to stay on his side for a longer period of time. Five-minute clip. That's obstruction. They'll be going to jail. They'll be going to jail for obstruction.
Look, hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon! Yo, watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her! Yo! What's wrong? You hit her! You hit her! You guys hit her! You guys hit her! What's wrong with y'all? Y'all hit her? Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street! Y'all hit her! Y'all on camera! Leave her alone! She ain't even do shit. She trying to go to work. She's trying to go to work.
What the fuck?
Oh, what? Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart. She's a female.
Is that an Instagram influencer?
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her? You guys hit her. Man, how y'all gonna arrest her, Brad? Y'all bogus as fuck. You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit.
The Trump family has made about $1.8 billion profited off of this government. And he said that Joe Biden didn't know who he was pardoning using an auto pen. How come he don't know who this guy is?
Because he used an auto
Yeah, I know why you would say that.
Let me meetings with the judge. The meetings that they're supposed to go.
I was looking at the chat.
And I will tell you right now, I will not raise my children to think Donald Trump is an acceptable American leader. Nor that he is what the leader of our great country should behave like. I won't raise them to think his terror enables his power and that his greed equals success. He is the exact opposite of what real strength looks like. So in our house, Gavin and I will continue to teach our kids what strength really looks like. If you see someone sitting alone at a table, you invite them to your table. If you see someone being bullied, you speak up and ask an adult for help. And you always, always tell the truth. Maybe if Donald Trump's parents had taught him any of these lessons, we wouldn't be in this mess. On the contrary, Trump is enriching his immediate family and cronies. He is stripping away our rights and our democracy. When he knows he's going to lose, he cheats. When the game isn't rigged for him, he rigs it himself. Sometimes no is a full sentence. Trust me. That's right. But Donald Trump.
You might lose NNN. You want to do NNN, bro? I'll do it. I have no problem starting it right now.
Trump's never accepted no for an answer. He's a con artist, a predator, a malignant narcissist, in chief, and the worst president in our nation's history.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just all TDS crap. Does having sex with your girlfriend count against? Well, it's not. It's not meant for. It's not meant for people in relationships. I don't think. Is it? I don't think that counts. But it's kind of, that is kind of cheating, man. Come on. NNN daily updates, bro. That's like the ultimate cringe if you do that. I mean, I'll do NNN because I have self-discipline, I think, but First partner. Yeah, well, that's ridiculous. That's what Dougie was gonna be if Kamala won. He was like, I want to be the first partner. Doug was like, my request is to be the first cuck. My official title instead of the first lady is gonna be the first cuck. So he wanted that title, and they said, all right, we'll give it to you. I mean, if she wins, she's the boss. She is the boss.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that. That part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Venezuela, if I was going to do it or if I wasn't going to do it.
Why do we need an aircraft carrier and strike group out?
It's got to be somewhere.
Okay.
It's a big one. Venezuela. If I was going to...
Dude, you should see his answer to the crypto stuff. He's like, are you ready for this? I don't know who that is. You've pardoned a crypto mogul named CZ. Are you ready for this? I don't know who that is. Voted for Zoran Mamdani. These women, they're like, oh, I'm attractive and I voted for Zoran Mamdani. Really? It's supposed to be like this flex, and then we're supposed to be like, oh my goodness, the hot girls are voting for Zoran Mamdani. What will we ever do? Like, it's just such attention-seeking behavior. They post like a selfie of themselves and they try and get it in like the perfect lighting and everything. I mean, yeah, that's not the best clip to post. Trump 2028, he can run again because 2020 was rigged. Yeah, that makes sense. She looked like a wax man. It was an attractive girl, but there are a dime a dozen. If you vote for a socialist, you're gonna lose points. $9.99 OnlyFans. That's gotta be a joke. OnlyFans. Yeah, there's a lot of advertisement for it on Instagram for sure. Matt Walsh, latest post. This one. Ben Shapiro had any courage to remove Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire. A lot of people are calling for me to be fired for that reason that aren't entirely clear. I'm not sure whether even... Yeah, he's not going to fire Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is like the guy that's supposedly anti-Israel or at least less pro-Israel. It wouldn't make sense for Ben Shapiro to fire Matt Walsh. No, Trump, I'm sure, is not participating. My seat went down. Benny Johnson or Tim Pool? Oh, there's a battle. Benny Boy Johnson or Tim Pool? I don't know. I'd say Tim Pool, I guess. What's the next Lego project? I'm still waiting for it to come in. It's being shipped. It's being shipped in from China. I'm still waiting for it. It's a massive set. Jack Posobiec as N Wokeness. He runs that account? No way. Any update on your car? No, I don't have a new car. I don't think it really makes sense for me financially to get a new car. How do you challenge a late payment on a credit card? Do you go to someone that manages credit and then you tell them to do it for you? I have to do something like that. Call the credit card company. The company the company that issued the card to you. Did you buy the new Lego Game Boy set? I don't buy sets like that. Yep, and they say what happened, and they'll usually work with you. I have to go, and you know what? I have this Amazon card. I don't even know what it is. It's just like these auto payments. Like, what am I even paying? I don't even know what I'm paying. Then I have to call over the phone and authorize to be able to pay the thing. Then I paid it, and then it triggered and said, "Oh, it's a late payment," because I had paid. There was like an amount that was every month. But I think it might have been just for my Amazon Prime account, maybe. And it just kept piling up. I don't know. We'll see if I can get rid of it. Isn't there a 30-day grace period? Well, there's a 30-day period in terms of you having a payment. But once that runs out, then it's a late payment. Do you think the new Death Star was a ripoff? It doesn't surprise me. The cost of it doesn't surprise me. Listen, the issue that Lego has, if they want to do what the fans wanted a detailed, fully circular sphere Death Star. You know how many pieces that would be to have a detailed, fully circular? I mean, that would probably be like 12 or 13,000 pieces. So they went really detailed, but it's more of like a diorama. I think it's a cool piece. I do. But I understand it's like people just don't, it's like a slice. That's what people say. I always have to call to pay my Amazon card. It's so annoying. That's yeah, I think it's partnered with Chase or something, and maybe I go to Chase. It's like I have a Chase card, but it's connected to Amazon. The reason I got the Amazon card was because they say you need more. The more cards you get, the higher your score. And but then there's this payment on the Amazon. I don't even go that. I don't use the Amazon. I use my credit card when I pay through Amazon Prime. But I think it's the actual Amazon Prime subscription. So, but I'm tired. I don't want to have to call and say that I want to authorize a payment. They should just have it It should be an auto pay. They should just do an auto thing. Fully operational. I think Lego is just whatever it is. Either their price gouging. I mean, they have a full monopoly on building blocks. Those Lego, the Lego pieces themselves. They're not. It's not patented by Lego. It's just they get all of the licenses from Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Batman and whatever. But they have a monopoly, so they can raise prices. And there's no competition. There's no competition for building blocks in the United States. The competition is like overseas. But people like Lego. You recently got a job at a grocery store, over under, until you get an obese black woman yelling about EBT. Well, I don't know what the EBT situation is. You'd have to, apparently they're paying it, or it's Can you buy a Lego set with EBT? Yeah, because it's an essential good. I'm just kidding. Secret symbolism in the Chase logo. I'd have to look at it. I don't know. I don't use Chase Bank. I just had to get the card. Dude, I gave up on telling people to click the like button. That doesn't even... the only way that would work is if I did it every stream at the beginning, and then maybe that would get it recommended more. But it's like... I don't even know. You can buy energy drinks with the EBT. You can buy, like, lobster tail with the EBT. They say it's EBT eligible. From Amazon, it comes on ice. You see those tweets? Yeah, a lot of people forget to click like. That's why YouTubers are obsessed with saying like the video and subscribe, because a lot of it's a call to action is what they call it. How do we make more white people have more babies? That's what the country needs. Well, the prices got to come down. People got to be deported to get the prices down, to lower the competition in the housing market. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. A return to a religion.
Who of all of you made this mess? Speak now. Was it you, baby?
just horrible AI. Just AI.
Look at the state of my kitchen. Flour everywhere, and nobody wants to admit it.
Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh, the Scrooge that hates AI. No, I think the AI stuff is bad. What happened with YouTube TV taking off sports, and people got angry about that? AI is taking over World War II content on YouTube. Yeah, I've seen some of that, but it's like voice narration is all AI. You ever get the giant chewy Nerds candy? Those things are like crack. No, I had like gummy Skittles. Those were good. You have gummy Skittles. So it's like just... You thought YouTube was taking those AI videos down? They're not going to be able to take all of them down. It's just not how it works. They might take some, but I don't even think they're really trying all that hard. THC gummies. I'll pass on any of that. I'll pass on edibles, bro. Not gonna be good for me. Why are there so many AI memes of Charlie Kirk? Yeah, I've seen some of the memes with Andrew Tate. Have you seen that one? YouTuber search engine just shows you AI and boomer news slot first. Dude, YouTube search engine just shows you shorts. You go to YouTube to search. You search something. There's two rows of shorts. Really? They should have a YouTube to where shorts are not even on there. What about that? I've got premium. Actually, I think you can do that, maybe. But when you search for videos, shorts should not show up. But they've incorporated shorts, and it actually takes away from YouTubers' long-form content views. Will Trump send troops into Mexico? It's looking like it's a possibility for sure. It's a lot more of a possibility than Venezuela. Venezuela is just going to be strikes, but there's special operations in Mexico. It's a get in, get out operation. No, I agree. It doesn't show you what you want at all. It doesn't even show you what you want. It's not even. Their search engine is really fucked up. I don't know, and it destroys discovery. It destroys discovery. But there's no search engine. The functionality of search on YouTube doesn't exist anymore. It's recommended. All the top videos, or you're going to find a new creator, it's going to be on recommended. If a video does very well, it does well because it got to a recommended For You page. That's it. People are not going to go out and search it. It just... Because the search engine is so fucked. How's your coins? Coins are going through some adversity. The search used to be so great, I assume it's on purpose. Yeah, but it's also the shorts infesting it as well. I wanna fully rewatch Chernobyl, but I feel like you have to like fucking pay for some bullshit like it's like Amazon Prime or something. HBO. That's the other thing. Now the streaming is cannibalizing itself. You see this? The streaming is... People are like, we're done with streaming. Yeah, no, I never liked streaming. I never used streaming. I used cable. I mean, obviously, I might have to change, but people don't like streaming. Streaming does not make sense. These live sporting events, you can't do it. And now there's some dispute. Disney is disputing with someone. The people lost their football. They're so angry. HBO Max. Yeah, I'm going to have to see. Maybe somebody has that. You think Paul Vier has a second chance in Canadian government shutdown causes snap elections? I don't know. I'd have to see the polls and the temperament on how Carney's done. But honestly, the Canada's so liberal. It's still probably an uphill battle for him. Chernobyl was excellent. Yeah, I like the guys. I like the three guys that were the villains. Yeah, I'm sure you could find a site to watch it if you really wanted to. Good enough. But then the problem is you watch it on a pirated site. It's not a good viewing experience. It's like not HD or it lags or some shit. There's a bunch of ads. You can't even click on full screen. I don't know if Trump changed the Canadian election. I find it hard to believe, but it's possible. I mean, it was a close election, so any little bit, people are going to say, well, that changed it. You see Tucker is on Dave Smith's show right now, like the live premiere. Tucker is talking with Dave Smith, responding to the attacks, calls for cancel for him from Josh Hammer and those at the JRC event. Really? So they did a collab. So now they're running to refuge. He's running to find refuge with Dave Smith as like the anti-Israel. Yeah, maybe I should do a video on this. This seems like a big situation within the Republican Party. But I don't know if it's an online thing or I don't know. Of course, Ohtani's going to say they're going to three-peat. Yeah, Ohtani wasn't even good in the World Series when you look at it. Video on MAGA Civil War. Yeah, but if Trump's not involved, how can it even be a MAGA Civil War? Like, I think that's over-embellishing it, let's be real. But it's this fracture within versus a civil war. U.S. is winning the World Series Baseball Classic. That's all you care about. Yeah, I don't know about that. They didn't win it the last time. When was it last, in 2023 or 2022? Is it every 3 years? Yeah, people made a big deal about the World Baseball Classic, and the U.S. didn't win it. But now they're gonna try and make a huge deal because these MLB people, see, these MLB influencers are like obsessed with it, and MLB does not do well on social media, so they're like, oh, we got the World Baseball Classic. It's this huge thing. They try and make it like the World Cup. And it's like, is it really that big? I mean, and then a lot of the teams don't even want their players participating because of how close it is to the season. Bryce Harper going to the Red Sox? Well, that would be interesting. But Bryce Harper is a lefty. That really wouldn't work. Maybe go in the... You'd rather have a righty with Fenway. Any decent movies coming out? I'm excited for the next Dune. But that's December 23rd. Yeah, I haven't seen any great movies. You should go see The Black Phone too. Now, there's... Think about the holiday season. Think about the October. Where's the good movie? You know, I saw Joker 2 last year. I actually thought it was not terrible. Yeah, Joker 2 was actually... I'm not a fan of the music stuff. I think it was a hive mind. People hated it. I'm not saying it was good, but it wasn't as bad as people were saying. But this year, there's no October horror movie. There's not even Halloween, a new Halloween grift movie. There were so many good movies in 2013, 2014. It's insane. There's just nothing. Skeens, Judge, Harper, Schwarber, Witt Jr., Scooble. Where will that team even be assembled? And nobody's getting those players. The Yankees? It's your 33rd birthday. You feel old without a kid or a family. It's time to change it. Otherwise, you'll be a groiper or an incel. Yeah, I mean, it's getting late early. It's it's a challenging time. But yeah, you should strive for a family at some point. It's a fulfillment. Oh man. You can't do that. World Series had 47 million viewers compared to NBA Finals 16 million. Wow. Is that serious? Holy. Well, you know what? They're getting the Japanese viewership. That's what the NBA will cope and say. Oh, they got Japanese viewership. If that's true, that's insane. Is it seriously that big of a gap? I mean, I guess it was Game 7. And the NBA didn't go 7. Thoughts on government shutdown at 34 days, second longest government shutdown in U.S. history. I don't think it really affects much, honestly. I mean, unless it goes on for a crazy amount of time, I don't think this is really going to. You know, I mean, even Jake Tapper said the Democrats shut it down by not voting for the continuing resolution, so. NBA did go 7. Oh, yeah. Tyrese Halliburton, right. Got injured Game 7. That's brutal, man. Thoughts on Sweeney's new viral pics? It's just funny to see that. I guess if she does other nude stuff in shows, but it's kind of hilarious to see. The Federal Workers Union called for the Democrats to open the government, so it's pretty much confirmed they're being blamed. Well, right. I mean, it's a continuing resolution. It was voted on in the spring, so now they're trying to continue the funding. So it's got to be passed, and the Democrats, they want to try and extort the Republicans. Because Washington's not gonna make the playoffs. Washington football they're not gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna lose another game. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this live stream. I'm gonna end it there. I will see it. Yeah, probably tomorrow for sure with the election. When are the elections at 7 o'clock? I'm saying the polls close 7 o'clock maybe. It could be a bad time for Republicans, imagine, but it's like whatever. It's fucking like 2 elections. Yeah, the New York City mayoral race. We'll see. All right, guys. I will see you later.